America is false to the past, false to the present, and solemnly binds herself to be false to the future. Those were the words of Fredrick Douglass, former slave turned national leader for the abolition of slavery, whose opinion, President Abraham Lincoln said, was the most important in the nation. A month before the end of the Civil War, Lincoln called for the Union to honor black Americans with the right to vote, and 3 days later he was shot and killed by the Confederate terrorist John Wilkes Booth. Now, Lincoln had picked a Southerner, Andrew Johnson, as his vice president in the hopes of unifying a divided country. When Johnson took over the presidency, he was supposed to oversee the prosecutions of 39 Confederate leaders responsible for the bloodiest war in U.S. history that the South thought was a righteous rebellion to protect slavery. Judge John C. Underwood presided over the case, and he was furious that Confederate leaders, with hands dripping with the blood of our slaughtered innocents and martyred president, were still at large. Judge Underwood's court issued a warning. Failure to convict would embolden future rebellions and more acts of treason. He spoke to the jury directly, and he said, "It's for you to teach them that those who sow the wind must reap the whirlwind, that clemency and mercy to them would be cruelty and murder to the innocent and unborn." Confederate General Robert E. Lee and the Southern shadow president, Jefferson Davis, faced capital punishment if they were to be found guilty. The charge was being moved and seduced by the instigation of the devil to subvert and to stir, move and incite insurrection, rebellion, and war against the United States of America. But there were countless delays. President Johnson was protesting against including black jurists, and 1 month before the end of his term, Johnson just drops all the charges. Robert E. Lee and Jefferson Davis and 37 other Confederate leaders just walk away. In fact, the only American found guilty of treason during the Civil War was John Brown, an abolitionist who fought to end slavery. And for that, Brown was hanged for the crime of treason against Virginia. And witnesses to his hanging were none other than General Robert E. Lee and John Wilkes Booth. For General Lee and the Confederates, there'd be no convictions. And what happened next? Northern U.S. congressmen don't want to seat Confederates or their sympathizers in Congress. They want a Union military presence in the southern states to maintain law and order, and they want to pass protections for black America. But President Johnson vetoes those protections and fires one of his so-called radical cabinet members who agrees with them. And as a result, Johnson is the first president to be impeached, and he escapes conviction in the Senate. And so Reconstruction and reconciliation are compromised and crippled. Statues of Robert E. Lee and Jefferson Davis are built to commemorate white supremacy and treason, and myths around states' rights and Southern pride live on as a transparent cover for the shame of an ideology of extreme brutality and delusional supremacy. And that culture of the Confederacy rises again and again. Anti-democratic, anti-science, anti-black, anti-brown, anti-immigrant, anti-everything, and anything that isn't their clan. And century after century, so-called white moderates find unscrupulous reasons to accommodate these white supremacists for their own self-interest, for their lack of courage. And black America, Native America, everybody else, be damned.